UAP are airborne objects that, when encountered, cannot be immediately identified. With regard to the importance of transparency, the Department is fully committed to the principle of openness and accountability to the American people.
We're going against the wind. The wind's 120 knots from the west. Oh my gosh, dude.
U.S. Navy personnel recorded what appears to be triangles, some flashing. The video was taken through night vision goggles with a single lens reflex camera.
Well, I would say, it's a pretty high-profile incident. I don't claim to be an expert. You're the guys investigating it. I mean, who else is doing it?
There's a whole fleet of them. Look on the ASA.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to UFO We Want to Know. This show, like all my shows, are dedicated to those who have been ridiculed, made fun of, and dragged through the media for the last 76 plus years. Think about that for a minute as I say that on all my shows. It's a very true statement because a lot of those people have already passed and they'll never be vindicated for what they had said in years since 1947. On today's show, I want to start off by going at night shooting. And I found some very, very interesting things at night. So let's go to the first photo. What I did was I put an arrow at the object that we're going to be concentrating on. And I did this because I want to show you how far away this shot was. Take a look at that. I believe that's the Big Dipper to the left of the arrow. And this, I believe, is a craft that was flying in and around this area. Now this craft is not by the Big Dipper. It's in our atmosphere. So let's go to the next photo. It's a clear view of it. There are it looks like 3 stars, and the craft is inside the bottom 2. That is a craft there. And the reason why I know it is because I took several different images of it. I'd be here all day with this one craft, but I darkened it the best I could, and I skipped over at least 10 different shots before I got to the very last one, and this is the next shot. Ladies and gentlemen, this is a craft, and it was out in the stars at night. This was taken at 11:47 p.m. on December 16th, 2023 in Pahrump. So interesting, the fact that these craft are in our atmosphere and they're traversing our planet. This should be proof to any scientists out there. They got better equipment than I have, and they can take these images and they can sharpen them up, and I bet you they get a lot better image than I've got. I went to almost 15 different ways of making this object appear. Let's go to the next photo. And again, there's the Big Dipper here, but that's not what we're looking at. What we're looking at is all the way to the right of the screen. And if you look to the right, you'll see 2 stars standing out. Well, you can't see it right now, but I wanted to show you again, far away, what I spotted in this photograph. Let's blow this one up. Let's go to the next photo. Do you see what I see in this photograph, ladies and gentlemen? You got a star kind of upper left, and then you got one middle right. But in between that, you got an object there. And this object is kind of unique because it looks like a humanoid. Next photo. All I did was I brightened up the background and this appeared. But what was so interesting about the very, very first photo is that I saw it when I was going through my ×5 magnifier. I spotted it, and usually I have to lighten things up for me to spot something, but this just was there. Doesn't look like a humanoid. So let's go to the last photo, which gives you an idea of what this object could have been. I believe this was just a spacecraft. Whether it was going up or down, sideways, I don't know. But isn't that funny, the illusion it can give you of making it look like a humanoid out in space. But what's so important here, and I want you to remember this, is that when I first thought of this as a humanoid, I knew it was a UFO. This is a spacecraft because it didn't illuminate with the stars. I only know it was in there by blowing it up, that it didn't show any illumination. It doesn't show it here either. There's a little light areas there, but those aren't stars. You saw the stars in the previous two photos. You saw a star on the upper left, upper right, lower right, I should say. And this was in the middle of it. It wasn't shining. This is a metallic object that was in our atmosphere. A large craft in our atmosphere. And scientists can say what they want. It doesn't matter to me. I've seen too many of these craft at night. I've got a whole bunch of them. And I wanted to show you just these right now because I thought about doing a nighttime show, and that's why I'm showing these right here. These were just taken just a couple of weeks ago. So that gives you an idea that they're doing well in our atmosphere. They're flying around at any given time when you're doing your business, walking up and down. Maybe you're shopping, going to work, whatever. They're flying over your heads at any given time, and I can guarantee you that because wherever I go and I take pictures, I get UFOs flying all the time. Whether it be Las Vegas, Henderson, Pahrump, it doesn't matter. They're all around us. Let's go to the next photo. Now, if you look at the left, you'll see an arrow there. And this could only be what I consider a flying saucer coming in from left to right, because on the next photo, it wasn't in the photo itself. Had I caught the UFO to the right, I would have captured it in two different photos, but I didn't. I captured it in one. But take a look at this photograph. Just stare at it for a minute, and if you look around, you see those bright spots. There's one on the top, and then you got two on the left, and then you got one on the right. Those are stars. They're not touching that craft. It looks like you've got lights on both sides. You don't. It's not touching the craft. Because when I was using my magnifier, I can see that those stars were further back. You can actually see it. I'm guesstimating that this is in my backyard, that this craft that you're looking at was probably no more than a mile away from my house. And this was facing northeast. I got to get my numbers here right. It was facing northeast. So we're talking about S4, Area 51, maybe Tonopah. But that craft there was in our atmosphere. It wasn't that far away. And it is what looks like a saucer-shaped UFO, not a cigar shape. It seemed to have a roundness to it. Let's go to the next photo. Now, when I was doing this, taking this pictures, I wanted to see if I can come in and see the shimmering. On the right side, you have more of a shimmer than the left, and I try to come into it. And as you can see, that star is not touching that craft. It's further back, and that is a star. And that's the best I can do with this photo. It is a UFO. It is in our atmosphere. It's not Starlink. There are no lights on it, but you see the shimmer there. The moon was out, and I believe the shimmer is what you're seeing from the moon. In the last photo, And this gives you an idea of the overall size and shape of the craft. If I'm thinking it was that far away from me, that craft had to be close to a mile across, maybe more. I don't think it was no 45-foot craft. This has to be a very large craft. Now, when I was out there videotaping and taking photos at night, what I do is I'll take 2 pictures and then I'll go back to the photo outside and I'll look what I'm capturing, because sometimes if I hear a helicopter, I want to make sure I'm not taking pictures of a helicopter. I want to make sure I'm taking pictures of something that's out there that's not flashing a light, because if I do that, I'm just wasting my time out there. And what I did was I saw this craft and I immediately went back to my photographing and it was gone. However fast it was traveling, I didn't hear any noise. I couldn't even hear crickets out there at night. But I remember when I was taking this photo and I saw it, I said, oh, I got something. And this, right to the left of it, doesn't show it, but my house is right to the left of this object. So it was flying over it. And I've had craft fly over my house, because I do have a very good saucer-shaped UFO that I've shown in past videos that was flying directly over my swimming pool. And you know, I got to believe that maybe this is one of their ways of traveling in that particular area, because this is not the second craft. I got about 10 different craft flying over in the same direction as this one here. Again, those are stars. Those 4 lights are stars, and that is a flying saucer in the middle. Write in at UFO we want to know at gmail.com and tell me what you think these are. They're not some kind of off anomaly. These are actually structured craft, and that's my belief. And when we come back from the commercial break, I want to continue on with more photos. Thank you. Hi, I'm Joseph from UFO We Want to Know, and I'm here to tell you about the tumbler lady at the farmer's market at Tractor Supply in Pahrump every Saturday from 8:30 a.m. to 12 noon. These tumblers are locally made and have specialized designer toppers. Great gifts for Christmas or any holiday, and all can be custom made upon request by emailing the tumbler lady 1@gmail.com. Also, you can purchase tumblers and mugs that I mentioned on UFO We Want to Know, aired every Saturday at 7 p.m. on KPVM TV channel 25.1. Thanks for supporting local Pahrump businesses. Thank you for staying with me. I have some interesting videos. I have a video and photos to show you on this segment. So let's go right to the photo, the very first one. And I want you to take a look at something. Now, ladies and gentlemen, this was actually a video, but I circled this and I didn't want to do it because the UFO was so faint that it wouldn't make a lot of sense to be playing a video on it. So I just started, and this is the actual distance from the actual video. And there is a dark object on the upper left of the sun. And what was so interesting about this is that this craft here seemed to be playing in the clouds there. You can see it's right by the chemtrail there. It seemed to be weaving back and forth. You can actually see this without the camera. But when I was looking at the video, it seemed to be bobbing back and forth. I didn't see it live, but it was bobbling. Now, if you notice to the right of that, there's a little dot there. That is a lens flare. I want to make that clear. Any photographer who sees that will say it's a lens flare. And I get an awful lot of those. You'll see them in a lot of my videos, and you'll see them in a lot of my photos. And I don't really point them out because I didn't think it was necessary. But I want people to understand that I do understand that when there's a lens flare out there, people say, well, never mind that shot to the left. Look to the right. There's one sitting right there looking at it. So that's what that's all about. Next photo. Gives you an idea what was up there. This was kind of a odd-shaped UFO. It kept its actual shape. It seemed to have something coming down, not so much the center, but it seemed to have like a leg down and then a short spout in the back. Next photo. Can give you an idea of what I'm talking about. It seems to be like a little bit of a hammer shape. And this object was not traveling very fast. When I was videotaping it and I went back to take a look at what I had, I noticed that this object did not move very much. Now, if scientists want to say this is just a glitch, that's fine. But as far as I'm concerned, if you saw the video, this object does move. So it's not a glitch. And the final photo of this particular one shows you, I use my software, there is a dense part in the forward part of it. For all we know, that could be the back. I don't know. It's got that leading edge to the right through the clouds. This just goes to show you this was traversing. It went actually through a chemtrail. But this object was up there, and it was quite large because if you take a look at the original photo, you can actually see it in the video, and so it must have been a very large craft. No aerodynamics on this one. Let's go on to the next photo. Excuse me. It'd be a video. Here's something that is kind of mind-boggling. This craft, again, dark, not light, dark, and it hardly moved until the very end of the 17-second super slow motion video. We're going to loop this a few times. This particular video was taken on December 9th, 2023, 11:40 a.m. So here's the interesting part about this. This object was probably 30 to 40,000 feet up in the air. And I say that because I watched the jets go by. And they were up in their peak altitude because they were setting off chemtrails, and they were flying pretty high. And this object was in that area. So why isn't NORAD seeing what I'm seeing? It doesn't make any sense. If people at NORAD are listening, this was taken December 9th at 2023, and we're talking about Las Vegas here. This is Las Vegas. So it gives you an idea. So they have software that they can go back and they can actually find out what was in the sky at that time. I'm sure they're not going to give me a holler and say, hey, you're right, there was an object up there. But so let's go to the first photo. And of course, with my trembling fingers, I circled it. And I circled it for a reason, is because this was taken from a still, but look what I did to the background. I wanted to make sure I kept it, the UFO that is. You can see on the lower bottom part of it, you can see chemtrails there. These were jets flying over. They were going over left and right. Just a tremendous amount of UFOs that were in the air. I know because I was watching, when I was looking at the video, I was watching other UFOs, but they were so tiny that I didn't include them into this segment. Let's go to the next photo. This is essentially the object, and you start to see the shape of this object. And when I say the shape of the object is, if you take a look from the front and back, you can see this was a object that was saucer shaped. And here's the interesting part about this. This object, ladies and gentlemen, it actually seemed to tumble just once in the video, but it seemed to catch itself, and maybe it was just my eyes seeing what I wanted to see. But for the most part, I think that this object here was kind of a elongated saucer. And you'll see that at the end of the photos here. But that was really interesting. Let's go to the next photo. It's larger, as you can see. And I didn't use a lot of software on it. I just did beginning software on it just to get some clarity in the back. A lot of times when people try to get a photo a little more clear, they'll do the background. It's what people call cleansing the background, taking off noise. And that's what I try to do here. Sometimes I'll play with the software to get a better image. But I noticed on this that there was light air around it, and then it gave kind of a darker bluish wave around that, darker than the surroundings. So I said to myself, well, this could be a really large UFO. And just because I superimpose it, I'm not trying to say, see, I told you it's large. I'm just trying to tell you from my perspective, when I look at the video and then I look at all the photos that I take and I look through a magnifier, I can see that this was a large object. Now, again, I'm guessing, and of course, scientists don't like when people say they're guessing because you can't judge distance, especially if you have no reference. But hey, there's no colleges that you can go to learn about UFOs. If there is, I like to know. Next photo. And what we did here was I went to the extremes with my filter system, and I used my sharper image software to see if I can get rid of some of that noise. But look at the disturbance this craft is making in our atmosphere. Now, they're not touching the atmosphere, as I've said again and again. Until I'm proven wrong, I'll keep on saying that. But take a look at what it's doing to our atmosphere. It seems like it's punching our atmosphere, doesn't it? Because it's not touching the atmosphere. And it's moving. And if this was not taken in slow motion, I can't tell you how fast it was going. I don't think it was going any more than maybe 1,000 miles an hour, because when I show you UFOs that are going and I say they're going Mach 20, Mach 30, this one did not display that kind of movement to me. So I'm gathering that this craft was probably going pretty slow for a UFO, and their technology being, as I said before in past videos, they have to be millions of years ahead of us. Now, some of the scientists today will say, no, they could be 1,000 years ahead of us. Baloney. I don't think so. There's no rocket propulsion system here. There's no solid gas or any kind of flame. These are highly technical craft. And scientists can say what they will, but that's my belief. And let's go to the last photo of it. As you can see, I used my software to show you that there's a saucer shape to this UFO. Look at the brilliance of colors. Now, that, of course, that could be the pixelization of the camera, and it could be that what I'm getting here is a rotating craft or a craft that is using some kind of electromagnetic charge. It could be using plasma charge. We don't know because we don't have those craft. I'm sure that some of the governments around the world have these craft, and they know that what I'm saying is correct, but they're not going to tell me that. It's important for you to understand when I put out videos and photos that, as I said before, and I'll say it again, and nobody in the establishment is going to be able to call me a liar, because I've said it enough times. I'm not a scientist. I guess at the majority of things that I show you, I would say probably 95% of the things I'm guessing. It's my own interpretation. We think in human terms, and in human terms, you're only going to go so far. We're not enlightenment beings like we think we are. We're far from it. we're fighting two major wars right now. We're acting like adolescents. Until we get to that point where we can be accepted by these intelligent beings, I don't think we're going to get there anytime soon. When I do my UFO videotaping and photographing, I think about the wars. I really do, and I think if I can just capture craft that the world can stop and say, "Hey, let's don't fight. Look what's out there. Maybe they can help us." Wishful thinking, I know. But so many people on the internet have said the same thing. I wish they would intervene. And that's my belief. I wish they would intervene because we're not going forward. We're going backwards as far as I'm concerned. Let's talk about a little bit more after this next message. Hi, I'm Joseph from UFO We Want to Know. And I'm here to tell you about the tumbler lady at the farmer's market at Tractor Supply in Pahrump every Saturday from 8:30 a.m. to 12 noon. These tumblers are locally made and have specialized designer toppers. Great gifts for Christmas or any holiday, and all can be custom made upon request by emailing the tumblerlady1@gmail.com. Also, you can purchase tumblers and mugs that I mentioned on UFO We Want to Know, aired every Saturday at 7 p.m. on KPVM TV channel 25.1. Thanks for supporting local Pahrump businesses. Thanks for staying with me. And on this segment, we're going to be showing you a video and some photographs. And I hope I get some clarity out of what I'm saying from the past segment. I'm not human bashing. I'm far from that. I'm not human bashing. Just that I lost a lot of faith in in humanity, primarily because the way we treat each other. Sometimes we treat our pets better than we do human beings, and that reflects on us as human beings. We're all human beings, and we should treat each other with respect. With that, let's go with let's move to our first video. And what you're seeing there is a streak. Now, I had to slow this one down quite a bit. That's why you see the chugging motion here. It's a elongated craft, and I'll show you that after the pictures. But we're going to be looping this a few times. This craft was just moving, and we had to slow down at 95%. And this was a slow motion video. I have slow motion and super slow motion. This was a super slow motion video. But take a look at this craft move. At regular speed, you would not be able to see this thing move. Now, I want you to notice something. We're going to loop this a couple of times. At the bottom of the screen, you'll see an aircraft. That's a jet. Pretty far away, but take a look at it. It's not moving forward, while the UFO is just arcing across over the sun's view. And now scientists are going to say, well, yeah, that aircraft on the bottom is far away. Thank you, because this craft was in our atmosphere and it was closer than that aircraft far away. Simple. You don't have to be a mathematician to understand that. That craft that's on the bottom, that airplane, it's leaving a chemtrail. It is not moving. The UFO, on the other hand, to the left of the sun, is just moving. So how do mainstream scientists correct that? They can't. It's as simple as that. They can't. So after this loop here, we're going to go ahead and go to the first photo. And as you can see, this is a still of that craft. And what I did was I took about 6 different stills, but this is the best one to show what the actual craft looked like as far as the shape is concerned. So let's go to the second photo. And I left out everything else, the sun and that jet aircraft on the bottom. because I wanted to show you the shape of this craft, and it never changes its shape. It stays the same. This was taken on December 9th, 2023 at 11:12 a.m. over Pahrump, Nevada. Over Pahrump, Nevada. Next photo. It's a larger image of it. As you can see, I made the background a little purple, trying to get some kind of color out of this craft. This craft refused to give me any kinds of colors out of it. No matter what I tried, I spent about 2 hours on this particular craft because I tried to get some kind of color out of it, as you saw on previous videos, where I'm able to get blues, greens, reds, nothing out of this. Is just a shimmering white. Now, could that possibly be because it was going so fast that it was letting off electromagnetic charge, that, or even anti-gravity, that it was leaving this this little entrail in the back of it? Because that's what it looks like, a little smoke coming out of it. No, this is not an asteroid or a comet by far, because it was traveling up. Comets don't travel up, they come down. Next photo. Closer up of it, gives you an idea. Now, with the software, I was able to get make the little chem trail, if you want to call that, or whatever you want to call it. I seem to be able to show its difference in color from the craft. But look at, remember, this craft was going from left to right upwards. And it looks like the front end has got like a sloping front end, and the back it's wider. Is that airfoil, like our airplane wings? Pretty similar to that. And I think scientists who study craft going through our atmosphere would find this really interesting. Let's go to the last photo of this particular craft. And I try to make it more solid. And again, from the very beginning, it kept its shape, didn't it? It kept its shape. And the nice thing about this is when I use my software, why is it that some of the craft I can actually get color out of it, and in some I can't get any color out of it? I believe that it's because of the speed in which this was flying. Remember, this was super slow motion, and we slowed it down 95% of that super slow motion. So that's an incredible thing in itself for human beings to at least have that technology where we can actually study these craft. Now, mainstream scientists will not study these craft out in the open. The United States government has just recently claimed that they are inviting mainstream scientists to study these objects and bring it to a conclusion. And I guess they're going to be looking at this for a couple of years. How much taxpayer dollars it's going to cost us, I have no idea. But the government just recently announced this, that they were going to have scientists outside of the scientists they have right now under Arrow. They're going to have them take a look at this. I guess there's a little bit of heat on for them to show more transparency. I don't believe we're gonna get any more transparency. I think a lot of this is just talk from the government, and they're not gonna. I don't think they're gonna be serious about this. If they can get away with it, they're gonna get away with it. Remember, I've said this in the past. I believe that all of our black ops that we have are for the good of this country. We need black ops. We need military apparatuses that can take on the world's best and win. But we need transparency also. We want to know where the American taxpayers' dollars are going. It's so important. Let's go on to the next photo. And as you can see to the right, bottom right of the screen, there's an arrow there. And there's an object there. This was and I hope I'm pronouncing this right, Arroyo Crossing Parkway in Las Vegas. And what I was doing was I was trying to take pictures and show trees so I can give you an idea that this was not in a 45 or 90 degree angle. This was probably a 20% angle. And I caught that craft going through the clouds. Now, in a lot of photos I get, if it wasn't for the clouds, these dark objects I would never catch. And as I said previously, in some of these photos I cannot get color out of them. Now, this looks like a dark object, and it seems to be not far away from me because it's in front of the clouds. So this one may be 5-6 miles from me where I'm standing. Let's go to the next photo. A little more clarity on it. It's between the two poles, as you can see. And what I was doing with this one here is I was playing with it as far as bringing it in and trying software and then pushing it back out using software, seeing where I get the best image of it. I spent quite a lot of time on this one here because I don't get too many this low, and I consider this pretty low. The clouds were really far off, probably in the desert of Las Vegas, and because there was no clouds above me on that day. Next photo is a close-up of it, and as you can see, this is the iconic UFO, the ones that people see all the time. This is very, very similar to the one that the United States government is showing just recently. They got flying over a battle zone, and that particular one seemed to have been a silver or brushed aluminum object, but this seems to have the same shape as that one, and I thought that was quite interesting. So what I did was I used software that I don't normally use. And what I'm finding is on this new software that I started to use, it was giving me different colors that I had not gotten before. And because of that, I'm going to have to go back and check out some of my other photos from the past and see if I can reproduce some of these colors. So let's go on to the next photo and take a look at what I have here. This is that same object. Now, here's an interesting point. Look at that dark blue in the front. As it's, I believe the trajectory was from right to left. And does that mean that the friction of the atmosphere is causing that? What would cause that? I know that I'm playing with software. I understand that. And I know it could be the pixels in my phone. I understand that. But I haven't got too many photos similar to this. It seems to have some kind of wrinkleness to it. But again, it didn't change the shape. It's more oblong. Maybe the software is giving an image of giving off some kind of gas, but the object, the shape is still there. And the last photo of this one, it's more of a blow up. Not too many more differences in it, but at the same time, you got what? You've got color. You've got color on it. And because I enlarged it, it looks like it has kind of a dark area on the right side of it. But I thought that was interesting. So I'm going to start using that particular software and see if I can't get more color images of these craft. Remember, it started off black and then it went to a different color. I was hoping to talk to some software engineers. Maybe they can give me an idea of what I'm doing here with my software. And that concludes the last photo of that particular craft. When we come back, I'm going to be showing you another craft right after this message. Hi, I'm Joseph from UFO We Want to Know, and I'm here to tell you about the Tumbler Lady at the farmer's market at Tractor Supply in Pahrump every Saturday from 8:30 a.m. to 12 noon. These tumblers are locally made and have specialized designer toppers. Great gifts for Christmas or any holiday, and all can be custom made upon request by emailing the tumblerlady1@gmail.com. Also, you can purchase tumblers and mugs that I mentioned on UFO We Want to Know, aired every Saturday at 7 p.m. on KPVM TV channel 25.1. Thanks for supporting local Pahrump businesses. Thanks for staying with me for the last segment. I got some interesting photos for you to see. And we were talking before the break about the color of these UFOs. So I think you'll find this segment interesting. So let's go on to the first photo. Now, this is taken in my front yard. I was facing southwest, and I almost missed this object. And I did have this on a video, but it was so small I didn't want to play around with it. This object was very, very tiny, and it was going quite fast. As you'll see, it looked like it was heading west. And from the photos that I'm going to be showing you right now, you'll be seeing a little bit of a discharge to the left, bottom left of the craft. So let's go to the second photo. And what I did was I brought this image in because it was so tiny. I brought it in the best I could. This is actually not the first one that I brought in. This was probably the fourth because it was so tiny. I didn't want to waste your time and my time keep playing with a little tiny image. This gave me a little more detail, and that's why I started with this one. And you'll notice that it starts off with a green. And I thought that was really interesting because I've never caught a craft with this color before. It's just so interesting. Next photo. A blow up of it again. And as I was saying, it was going from left to right, according to my video. As you can see, it's leaving off a little bit of a odd end trail behind it. No aerodynamics here because it looks like it would be slamming into the wall. You'll notice that on the right and bottom of it, there's a little dark shades to it. But it was traveling, going from left to right, but it was moving upwards. Interesting, and I think scientists will find this interesting also, especially those who work with wind tunnels. They'll find this quite interesting. Let's go to the next photo. What I did here was I darkened the sky as best I could. Remember, this was taken during the day, and it was at a 90-degree angle. And even though it was going from left to right, going a little bit upward, it wasn't going exactly up. It was moving up. It left like a withdrawal. It looked like the entrails were kind of looping down towards the back, the bottom of it. And that, to me, tells me that this craft was giving off some kind of electromagnetic charge, some kind of anti-gravity charge. Now, if they're not touching our atmosphere, how can that be? Well, as a non-scientist, I can only suggest that using our mathematical understanding, our physics, we're not going to know that until we have disclosure. And that's my firm belief on that. Let's go on to the next photo. As you can see, you got one of my clumsy arrows here. I'm able to do that with my phone. And I picked out an object there. This is not a star. This is daylight. This is taken at 1:32 p.m. And I've got 6 photos of this. But at the end of the photo, you're going to find it so interesting of what I found. When I was first looking at this object, it seemed to have had a shape to it. And I took my magnifier, and I wanted to make sure that this wasn't a cloud. And I kept looking at it, and then I realized this isn't a cloud because of what it's doing. It did move. I had it in 3 different photos, and it moved. It ended up on the top of the sun, but I didn't want to be taking 30 or 40 pictures of this and showing them over and over. I did go up. You can see above that arrow, there's another object up there. Those are clouds. And what I did was I took a picture, a still of one of those clouds, and I tried to duplicate what I did to the bottom one, and I couldn't get anything out of it. It disappeared on me. So let's go to the next photo. I circled the object, so just in case it wasn't clear enough, I wanted to make sure that what I was showing you could be seen within the circle, so there's no mistake. And this object never changed its shape. Like so many of the UFOs that I get, it never changes its shape. Now, what we're going to do is we're going to go to the next photo here, and I'm going to show you what the shape of this object actually looked like. It kind of resembles a balloon, doesn't it? But I don't believe balloons can travel 3,000-4,000 miles an hour and then go straight up, because that's what this object did. At the end of the video that I was looking at, it traveled straight up. And so I know that this was not a balloon in any way, shape, or form. Again, we're talking about something that's possibly 20, 30, 40, 50,000 feet in the air. Okay, I asked NORAD again, why aren't you picking up these objects? Whether I'm in Pahrump, Las Vegas, Henderson, Tonopah, you have to be able to be seeing these objects. If I'm seeing them on a telephone video and a photograph from a telephone, why aren't you picking up with the billion-dollar instrumentation that you have down at NORAD? I know a couple of people who were stationed at NORAD, and I asked a question. Did you guys ever talk about UFOs? Were UFOs ever picked up? The answer was no. We never heard anything about UFOs. All we were interested in is finding out what was coming over the North Sea from Russia, and making sure that Canada was taken care of. But they never discussed UFOs. Okay, recently, in the last video I showed from the past show, I talked about NORAD claiming that they were lowering their radars to see these objects at a lower altitude. Well, it's been another week, and they still haven't said that they're watching these craft fly 20, 30, 40,000 feet in the air, but I'm sure catching them. And Pahrump may not be the center of industry, but these craft are all around us, and that has to mean something. Let's go to the next photo. Get some more clarity out this one. As you can see, I darkened the background on it, and you have the same iconic shape. It didn't change much. I just darkened the background. And sometimes when I'm able to darken the background, I'm able to get some kind of maybe a line or a geometric form to the object. But this one here didn't seem to have that. Now remember, you saw the very first photo. It was really far up there, and it was very, very tiny. And sometimes when I'm working with these craft, I have to go through a great deal of playing around with them just to get a sharp image of whatever I'm looking at. Because a lot of times you have a craft that can really drive you crazy using software. And believe me, I try to purchase software that would do more enhancements than I had previously, and they seem to do a little bit better. Every software, they're not all the same. Some software are better than others. I'm experimenting, but I want to make sure that I keep capturing the best image that I can and bring them to you. Let's go to the last photo. And this gives you an idea. We got a blue out of this. This is a blue craft. And being blue doesn't mean anything really. It's just the software, I believe. But whether or not the new software I'm using is giving me a different color, I'll find out later on, because I'm going to go back to some of my videos where I was showing you craft that weren't changing colors too much, but and they were in the same, I think, level of airspace that these craft were in. But if you take a look at this craft here, this is not a balloon. It was going up. From the video I could see it was going up. It gave that shape of a balloon, but not quite a balloon. The last photo. This is a real close-up of it, and I think this tells you probably an awful lot here, that this image here shows some character to it. There's some dimension to it. It looks like it could be like a shield, pretty close to a shield, doesn't it? Rough around the edges, but again, that could be my software. That could be the video itself. When I took the photo and isolated it, I could distort it a little bit or a great deal, depending on how you look at it. But this was up there in our atmosphere. Make no mistake. If you look at the center part of it, you notice it has crevices to it. Is that my software? Is that the pixels in the photograph? Who knows? Nobody really knows, because we don't have these craft right next to us. A good examination of this craft, I'm sure the government, if they saw this, they would probably find out a lot more than what I could possibly find out. It does have a dimension to it, and I like the fact that these craft are flying in our atmosphere, and the government still refuses to say that. We don't know what is going to happen with the new groups of scientists coming in to study these craft. I am open to handing over all of my documents to any scientist who really wants to look at what's up there. If you look at other videos, and I'm not bashing other videos, I'm just saying, if you look at any other videos out there, nobody shows all the videos and photos that I show from the past week, from the time that I do the show. I show these every single week, and I show UFOs traversing through our atmosphere when the government claims there is no craft. There's no credibility there. I don't understand them. I don't understand them. And I wish that people would write into their representative and tell them, take a look at that show and tell me there's no craft flying around in our atmosphere. With that, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to close out the year. This is already the 30th of December. I hope you have a safe holiday and bring in the new 2024 year. Take care, and I'll see you next year. Hi, I'm Joseph from UFO We Want to Know, and I'm here to tell you about the Tumbler Lady at the farmer's market at Tractor Supply in Pahrump every Saturday from 8:30 a.m. to 12 noon. These tumblers are locally made and have specialized designer toppers. Great gifts for Christmas or any holiday, and all can be custom made upon request by emailing the tumblerlady1@gmail.com. Also, you can purchase tumblers and mugs that I mentioned on UFO We Want to Know, aired every Saturday at 7 p.m. on KPVM TV channel 25.1. Thanks for supporting local Pahrump businesses.